Hello and welcome once again to Crisis of Infinite Podcast, where today we will be talking about our review for the Super Mario Brothers movie that came out last month. And as always, I'm your host, Mark Palmer, along with my guest.
Hello, Nathaniel. Great to be back again.
And Kenny from South Park. I'm just kidding. It's just us, our usual guest, Spider. All right. So anyways, what I'm going to talk about first before we get into the movie is that I want to know what since it's a Nintendo movie and since Nintendo was a big part of our childhood, what were some of the consoles that you owned and what was your first Mario game you played, your favorite Mario game of all time is, and what your favorite Nintendo franchises or other IPs and what other types of games you like to play? I guess I'll go first. So I owned almost every Nintendo console. The first console was the NES, which included the Super Mario Brothers with Duck Hunt, and it came with the Zapper.
I remember that. I think I played that one first, and I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, and I think as a kid, I walked up to the screen to shoot at the ducks.
Who didn't?
Yeah, true. Yeah. And no one liked that dumb dog either.
When you look at that dog, and you can tell he is laughing in a similar fashion as that dog from Wacky Races.
Oh, Muttley?
Muttley.
Yeah.
That smug little bastard. My favorite Mario game has to be Super Mario World for the SNES. And my favorite franchise from Nintendo is Donkey Kong. Other favorite games I usually play are either fighting games, WWE games, superhero-based games, some first-person shooters, and RPG games. How about you, Nathan?
I got into the whole Nintendo thing with the Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64. And
that's how you were exposed to Nintendo and video games as a whole?
No. I was exposed with the Nintendo Entertainment System first, and that was the one where I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. And then the N64, and then I saw an N64 from one of my dad's roommates at the time when he was living in a condo. And that was my downward spiral to video gamedom.
So you never owned a SNES or a Sega back then?
No.
How about you, Spider?
I would play Blue Mario and a Mario with two tails and a punching Mario and the Mario that had the guns. I got started technically on NES, but it was a friend's. So my first Nintendo console was Super NES, and I've owned most of the major Nintendo consoles since the Super NES.
I don't think I have like a definite favorite video game franchise. There's just too many to list for me.
I mean, my favorite is Sonic.
Yeah.
I played the Blue Mario.
Any like favorite types of games, like the ones I mentioned, like whether they be fighting or FPS, RPGs?
Fighting games, beat 'em ups, and platformers.
I'm particularly fond of the first couple of Halo games. I loved Metroid Prime. And I've grown to become a Zelda fan back in high school. But like a couple of games I liked playing back in the day. Have you guys ever played Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah. Oh, I have it on my PS4, but I haven't played it yet. I know. I'll take your word for it and say that it's a good game.
It is a great game.
I still have yet to play it.
It is a great game. You can, if you know where to go, you could probably beat it in one day, in like 4 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, so now that's out of the way. What was your initial reaction to the news of the Mario movie, like about the casting decisions and all that?
I was like, well, there's no way they can make it worse than the 1990s one.
Yeah, because I didn't see the Nintendo Direct like live. I just saw like a clip of it. I'm like, wait, Chris Pratt as Mario, Jack Black as Bowser, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Oh man, this movie's gonna suck.
No, I mean, just like everybody else, my only thing was I didn't really think Chris Pratt was right for Mario. You know, that's the opinion everybody had.
But then that first trailer showed up and it blew me away.
Well, the first teaser did, and I'm like, oh my god, it does not look like it sucks.
I mean, let's face it. When we're talking video game movies, there's not exactly a high bar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ratchet and Clank was decent.
Yeah, it's still bombed.
Yeah, I know it's still bombed, but yeah.
The bar was not set very high.
True enough.
Okay. So now that I guess our initial reaction is out of the way, let's go straight to
when I was very, very iffy about the casting choices, especially with Seth Rogen and finding out that they got somebody like Fred Armisen to be Cranky Kong, and I'm thinking to myself, no, I have the Donkey Kong Country show Aaron Tager voice in my head permanently, and I can't see anyone else being Cranky.
We'll get to the characters later, and like who I thought should have probably been a better Cranky, but anyways, we'll go straight to the plot. So, anyways, the movie has that Universal logo, but then it has the illumination with the minions, with Mario Kart reference. But after that, dumb shit's over. We cut to the Ice Kingdom, ruled by the penguins, but you see molten lava come down from the sky, and it's Bowser's ship, and it plays the airship theme from Super Mario 3.
Well, I mean, look, let's not beat around the bush and go through the whole plot. Let's face it.
Yes,
we
please.
all know the plot is nothing spectacular. It's all what we kind of expected from a Mario movie. The big thing that had people geeking out a lot, like it was serviceable as a kid's movie. It's absolutely fine and good. Yeah. What had most of the older audience geeking out was a lot of the Easter egg.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And so, having seen the movie for a second time, I actually wanted to kind of discuss on how well this movie does telling its story without being blinded by the nostalgia goggles and rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, true. Because Nintendo had a big part in this movie because they were the ones who had the final say-so. Because they either Illumination had to play by their rules or they were forced to get out, basically.
Yeah, it makes sure, for the most part, it makes sure that the reference stuff is very small.
Yes.
And a lot of it's visual stuff.
Yeah. Like, for example, you see like a Pikmin trophy. Well, not a trophy, a statue. You see...
Well, not just that. Here's a good example. When Mario and Luigi are running through the town and they run through the construction site, like, that's literally, it goes
like a level.
Yeah, it goes 2D, like it's a construction level, like it's out of
Wrecking Crew.
Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, but I'm like, how are they able to know parkour all of a sudden? But when Mario goes to the Mushroom Kingdom, he doesn't know a damn thing about it.
I chalk it up to Wonderland syndrome. He's familiar with Brooklyn. He knows all the nooks and crannies of Brooklyn, and has a good sense of what kind of danger is in that city. Going to a complete and utter fantasy world that's on the lines of Wonderland would kind of mess with your head a lot.
Yeah. So
you think so too, Brian, or no?
I mean, it depends on what part of the movie you're talking about.
Spider.
It depends on what part of the movie you're talking about in terms of Mario not knowing parkour. Because if you're talking about the obstacle course, it's like there's a big difference between parkouring a little bit around a construction site and parkouring a freaking deathly obstacle course.
Yeah.
True enough.
All right. So, what would you say that you liked and didn't like about the movie? I mean, for me, I wish it was longer. And apparently, you know the part where they go to the Jungle Kingdom? Apparently, when they're driving around, it plays the song Take On Me. But originally, they were supposed to play a compilation of DK music. And that got cut out, and that pissed me off. I listened to what could have been, and it was beautiful. I actually was starting to shed some tears. Yeah, because I think that was Illumination's part. Like they played a lot of pop and rock songs.
Yeah, that's Illumination. That's Illumination's
Yeah.
MO when it comes to movie soundtracks. Sure,
Well-
they'll have a score, but they will insert pop culture songs into scenes
I
that does
think
not really fit.
I think Trolls is the reason for that. Remember, Trolls
Yeah.
was filled with
Sing.
pop music.
What
And
about
sing.
what
Yep,
about
no, you're
Despicable
right.
Me?
Despicable Me too.
No, they didn't really have a lot of pop music in Despicable Me, not the original one.
That's true.
Later
That's
on.
true.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Sing and then later Trolls
Yeah.
just cemented them filling the soundtracks with modern pop
Yeah.
music.
It should have just been
That's
game
like-
music.
That was It's like you look at Illumination and you're like, you gone full Sony. Never go full Sony.
No. It would, well, you know, what would be even worse. Going full Disney.
Ah, I knew you were gonna go there.
The Scuttle song.
Oh God, no.
Speaking of, they gender swapped Scuttle with Aquafina. I hate Aquafina. She's fucking annoying.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, no, it would be a good role for her because they're both annoying characters
Well, I've heard that kids actually laughed at the Scuttle song in the theaters.
for the live action.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Yeah, good for
Good
the
for
kids.
them. Good for them.
Like, they found it funny. I can't attest to that because I haven't seen the movie yet because it just came out.
Their taste will develop. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways,
like
also what I liked about the movie is how like near the end it kind of it turned into like a team up movie between Mario and DK.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of the DK stuff and a lot of the Donkey Kong Kingdom stuff, it felt like basically just a side quest. Like, what does
Yeah.
having DK as part of the team add by the end? Because most of the Kongs get captured and don't do anything for most of the movie.
True. I
like
mean,
they built up the Kongs as like this great
army.
army, and
And
But
then they
D-
don't do
Yeah,
shit.
but DK is like the strongest of the bunch.
one thing. Having seen the movie a second time, they don't really dive into DK's character as much as they do with like Mario and even Luigi. And Luigi has the least amount of screen time in that movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting, you know, when I said, like, this is kind of what we expected. Like, did you really expect deep character development from a Mario movie?
No, did you expect deep character development in an Illumination film?
Okay, that's a good one, too.
Cause like I'm sitting there in the theater, and you know in the scene where Mario and Donkey Kong are inside the belly of the eel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They end up getting into a fight, and and Donkey Kong gets like angry, saying, "I am more than
The
just
guy
the guy
who
who
smashes
smashes things." And I'm
And
like,
then throughout the
why
rest of the
didn't
movie,
you-
he's just the guy who
Yeah.
smashes
and
things.
I'm thinking to myself, that would have been a good little heart-to-heart moment between Donkey Kong and Mario, because
Well, they did kind of find out like they were like kind of like the same person because like I don't know if Mario said this to DK. He said, "At least your dad doesn't think you're a joke." And then DK said like an asshole, "Well, I seem to like your dad."
Yeah, well, I chalk it up. I'm willing to give the Mario movie a little bit of a pass because Nintendo in general has just been the most protective when it comes to,
Their IPs.
well, no, when it comes to not giving Mario specifically and those characters a personality. Like DK, like the only character in the entire Mario universe really who has a personality would probably be Luigi and Daisy. Like 'cause
Yeah.
Luigi's personality is he's the scaredy cat, but he's willing to be brave to save his brother. And Daisy's personality is she's the tomboy. But in terms of Mario, in terms of Bowser, in terms of Peach, it's like Nintendo is very scared to give any of them personality. Honestly, Bowser probably got more personality in this in terms of being a bit of a simp
Yeah.
than he has in most Nintendo games.
True.
I wouldn't necessarily call Bowser a simp.
I don't know.
Well, anyways,
Like I can see where you guys are going.
Yeah,
are going
well,
with calling him.
I was
calling
gonna
him that,
say
but
about,
I
like,
don't.
stuff that was changed in the Japanese dub. Like, well, for example, like, I mean, I also like the Easter eggs that they had. Like, for example, they had stuff for Punch Out, Duck Hunt, Wrecking Crew, Pitman, Starfuts, Kid Icarus, and Balloon Fight. But I heard that the dialogue for the Japanese dub was very different. For example, the reason why Bowser wanted to marry Peach was not just because he had a crush on her, but because he actually wanted to have kids with her.
Yikes.
Yeah. And his song, Peaches,
Hey,
was more
that's-
lustful.
That's somebody's fetish.
Yep.
Yuck.
Oh, she do that.
There's tons of things wrong with
Yeah.
that, and I will
Yeah.
keep saying it until it beats into your gorilla head.
Yeah, but the song that he sang was actually more lustful instead of more simpy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like that's a question that's going to be raised. Like, if he wants to marry, Peach, regardless of if it's in the movie or the game, it's like that question's going to come up.
Aye.
Yeah, because like I guess even Nintendo knows that because like I really thought that they weren't gonna do like the whole like him loving Peach thing, but I guess no, they decided to do that because even Nintendo thinks Bowser's a simp.
Aye, aye, aye.
But
I mean,
that whole like him like being a simp for Peach didn't really start till like Sunshine, right?
yeah.
I mean, in the early games, he just kidnapped her and like held her hostage, but like he didn't like want to marry her or anything like that.
Yeah, that wasn't until Sunshine. That was it came about mainly because of Baby Bowser.
Now, the thing is,
Bowser Jr.,
the thing is, simp behavior is incredibly submissive. Bowser is anything but submissive. It's either marry me or I'll burn your kingdom down.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
Yeah,
he did have Kamek torture Toad when he was trying to get Peach to marry her.
And marry him.
Marry him, yeah. And I do like the cameos from like King Babam and King Boo.
Oh, there was a subtle reference to Metroid you told me about.
I did?
Didn't you?
I think I did. I don't know.
You mentioned Easter eggs and you listed Metroid in that.
Oh yeah, there was. I think it had to do with one of the planets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Talon 4.
Yeah, that's right. And I wish that for the wedding that one more king had a cameo, King K. Rool, at Bowser's wedding.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to put the Kongs in, you might as well put him in as a cameo.
Yeah, or King DDD.
No, because there was
no,
Kirby stuff.
no. There was no Kirby. There was no Kirby stuff in there, and
yeah.
Kirby is its own entire
Yeah,
thing.
we'll get to Kirby later.
And
Yeah.
King Dedede would have been small.
Compared to Bowser and the rest of them.
He would be smaller than a Goomba, I think.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Goombas, I mean, it's funny how they still use that term for those enemies because isn't Goomba like a racial slur towards Italians?
No, maybe, but I'm not aware of it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Apologies to Italian audiences everywhere.
I mean, if we're right about that, then yeah. Honestly, the main thing for me is, like I said, I'm willing to give this one a little bit of a pass when it comes to like not being that deep of a story and not really diving into the characters, because they do give what they can in terms of like Mario feeling like he's a loser, because the actual, in terms of what character development there is, the main development is obviously with Mario himself in terms of like him feeling like he's a loser because he sinks all of his money into the plumbing business and it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
And he's
him being a 30-year-old who lives at home with his parents.
But he never really gives up. Ever.
Truly, this is for millennials. The main character is 30 and lives at home with his parents.
Anyways,
I did like how they briefly delved into Peach's origin.
Yeah,
how she came
I
into the
actually
Mushroom
was
Kingdom.
gonna
I
talk
actually
about-
did like that. But the thing I did not like was how Peach was portrayed in the movie. She is nothing like she was in the games.
yeah,
Because, like, I look at Peach and I'm like, this is just Daisy. This is pretty much
Well,
Daisy.
I think they took cues from the comics where they actually made her badass.
Well,
True.
no. So I have supposed knowledge of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, we were actually talking about like how the characters were handled and how the actors portrayed them, but you could go ahead and talk about your thing.
Okay, so this is just what I've heard. So I don't know if this is actual fact, but it would make sense. So from what I heard, in the initial draft of the movie, all the way up to the storyboarding phase, they were basically going to have Peach be full on girl boss and Mario be a complete doormat idiot.
Yeah.
Like, basically, Mario was going to be treated like, absolute garbage. And Peach was basically going to be, it was going to be the Peach movie, more or less. It's going to say the Mario movie, but it was going to be the Peach movie.
So it would be a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Like what they're going to do with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, basically. They were going to pull in Indiana Jones.
Or what they did with Last Skywalker.
Yeah, they were going to pull a Star Wars and Indiana Jones. But Nintendo stepped in and they basically said, no. Mario is the main character. He is the hero. He needs to be in at least 50% and not portray, and needs to be the hero. The other 50% of the movie can go to Peach and Luigi and Bowser and giving them character and giving them their moments. But Mario, at the end of the day, has to be the main character and the hero. That was basically, they laid down the law. And so Illumination had to go back to the drafting board and redraft to make Mario the hero. And those moments where it seems like Peach is... Those moments where it starts to seem at one point or another like, does she even need Mario, is basically what's left over from that original storyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, when I mentioned the Japanese dub, about with Bowser, they also did some changes with Toad. Like with Toad, he wanted to go on an adventure with Mario in the English version and as well as the other versions because he just felt like it. But in the Japanese dub, they said that he wanted to go on an adventure because he was tired of being portrayed as cute.
Because, that's one of the things that I kind of wondered about. Like, as I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking, okay, if Mario was not here, how would this event play out? Would Peach legitimately be able to do it without him? And up until Bowser launches the Bullet Bill, you can argue that, yeah, she would. Like, if Mario was not there, she'd have gone to the Donkey Kong Kingdom. She probably would have done something else to get the Kong army. I'm not sure what. She would have got the Kong army. The Rainbow Road stuff would have happened. She still would have got captured by Bowser, but she would have come up with the plan. The Toad would have gotten the Fire Flower. She would have disrupted the wedding. She would have froze everybody. She would have, done all of that. The point where Mario actually matters in terms of, if you actually were to rewrite the plot without him, is probably that point where the Bullet Bill is launched. That's something that Peach wouldn't have been able to take down.
And with that being said, I feel that after what you have just said, I feel that Mario should have been the one to save Peach in that wedding. Like, you could have her try her escape attempt and have it fail spectacularly, having Bowser actually prepared for her using a power-up.
Well, I can see a little bit of a halfway point between that.
And that was no Bullet Bill, that was a Bazooka Bill.
Well, I can see a halfway point between what you're arguing, where she does still do the escape attempt. She manages to freeze the guards and everything, but Bowser is fire breath. So you have it that his fire breath is enough that he is able to neutralize the ice power and hit her so that the Fire Flower wears off. So it's she's able to take out the guards and, even some of the high-level guards with the Fire Flower, but Bowser, because he's basically Fire Dragon, it doesn't work on him. Yeah. I think that would be a good halfway between what you're arguing.
Yeah.
So, going back to how characters were handled and how actors portrayed them, we were kind of talking about Mario a bit, but to me, he is the blue-collared, hard-working everyman who's gung-ho, who looks after his brother. But I did like how he kind of thinks of himself as a loser, but he still gets stuff done. I mean, he's not like Luigi, where Luigi is more down on himself and whatnot. But with Chris Pratt's portrayal, they were trying to go for the more Brooklyn version of Mario instead of the stereotypical over the top Italian Mario.
Hey, I'm jumping here.
Is that it for Mario?
I mean, it's an interesting way to go with him feeling in New York, he's a nothing. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad way to go with the character, because that's something that's kind of sunk in a little bit. In later incarnations is, ever since they started making Luigi the more scared and pessimistic one, they started making Mario the more outgoing and optimistic one.
I don't know if Luigi would be the more pessimistic
Yeah.
one, because from playing the Luigi's Mansion games, yes, he does get scared a lot, but he still never backs down.
Yeah. But sometimes,
No,
like,
but he does try to get out of it a lot.
Yeah.
True,
He's
he
kind of
does
like
try-
he's kind of like
he does-
Shaggy.
He
Yeah.
does try to get out of it, but he knows he has to
I'm
do
going
what he
to
needs to do
Mario.
to save his brother.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's why I said like he's a little bit like Shaggy at times. Nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's like I can understand that, like, because you need that balance. So it's like they've made Luigi a little bit like Shaggy, so it kind of makes sense to make Mario a little bit like what you typically get out of Fred,
Yeah.
to use the Scooby-Doo analogy.
Yeah, and yeah, since we finished talking about Mario, we are on the subject of Luigi. So Charlie Day as Luigi, he was shy, timid, cowardly, a bit down on himself, but proves his worth at the end.
Yeah, like I said, I think they did a decent job with all of the characters. It's just Chris Pratt's voice really didn't get across Mario, except for one. He was actually able to do the woohoo very well. I will give him that.
All right.
Yeah.
How about Peach? At first I thought she was going to be woke, but she's actually badass, like in the Nintendo Powers comics. And I did like her backstory where she actually is a human like Mario, but she just found her way to the Mushroom Kingdom and was adopted by Toads. But how did she get through a warp pipe?
I think there's only one line in the movie from Peach that feels a little bit too over the top and starts to actually go into legitimate Mary Sue-ness. Like everything else, I'm fine with. Even with what you said about wanting to dial back the escape attempt, even that I'm fine with. There's only one line that I would say feels a little bit Mary Sue, and that is when Mario asks, how many times did it take you to get it? And she's like,
Exactly.
a lot of times. She's like,
So you got it on your first try, didn't you? So like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I would have changed that. I would have said that, like, yeah.
I would have done the reverse. Like, I would have done the reverse. Like, you did it. Let me guess. You did it the first time? Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. You failed a bunch, didn't you? Lots of times.
Yes.
So many times.
Because then you establish that, like, she took training and doing all this stuff seriously. It's just that she's already gone through what Mario has gone through.
Yeah. Okay. How about Keegan-Michael Key as Toad? I thought he was like adventurous, somewhat of a comic relief, chipper, energetic, and loyal.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah.
He served his role well.
He served his role. He played a pretty good Toad, but like
At least his voice wasn't like in the games I did.
I don't know. Imagine him as like the substitute teacher in the Key and Peele skit, but it's just Toad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's face it. The best voice actor out of all of them was probably Jack Black.
Yeah, definitely. Jack Black as Bowser. Best character.
I think a big part of it was you can tell that he was having fun.
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
Out of everybody, he was just enjoying gobbling up the scene.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he was menacing, but like we said, he was also a simp. But yeah, he had a lot of fun with that role. Big time.
Like he generally sounded like Bowser throughout most of the movie. It's just it's just little moments when he's talking about certain things and his singing that gives it away that it's Jack Black.
you know it's him when he sings the Peaches song.
Yeah, but again, the fact that you can very easily tell, like, he's having a ton of fun with this role, I think, helped a lot.
All right, now let's talk about the Keen Sween, the Thriller Gorilla, the Bodacious Beast, the Prime Primate, the Simian Supreme, the Barrel Blasting, Banana Slammer, Expander of Dawn,
The second
Congo
fiddle to
Bongo's
Mario.
Hero, Donkey Kong, voiced by Seth Rogen. Well, I think I know where they were trying to go for the voice. I mean, yeah, it sounded too much like Seth Rogen, but they were trying to make him like a bombastic, obnoxious Chad dude bro, basically like the John Cena or Dwayne Johnson of the cons.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that
You
for
DK,
Donkey
bro?
Kong.
You DK?
I don't see
You
that
throw
kind
barrels,
of thing
bro?
fitting for Donkey Kong.
You eat bananas, bro? Yeah, but the best thing about that was that they played the DK rap.
Well, a portion of the DK rap. There isn't.
I don't know,
much-
because I mean, in recent years with video games, they've really dialed up the idea of Donkey Kong being a complete idiot.
Yeah, they did.
Well,
Even in the cartoon, he was kind of clueless.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Donkey Kong has
Fair
never
enough.
exactly been the sharpest banana.
You mean ripest banana?
Yeah.
Yeah. But with Donkey Kong, yeah, it had cameos from Diddy, Ditzy, Chunky, Swanky, Wrinkly, and
Wrinkly?
yeah, Wrinkly was there.
Oh, I didn't see her.
I think
didn't-
she was.
I didn't
I think
see
she was
her.
behind Diddy Kong. But so if oh yeah, and speaking of Kongs, Cranky is not the grandfather. He's the father of DK because they want to get rid of Junior.
Yeah, he doesn't exist no more.
They want to get rid of Junior. They want to get rid of Wart. They want to get rid of.
They want to get rid of my boy Lanky.
They want to get no.
Good.
No, I don't think they want to get rid of Lanky, but I know they want to get rid of Koopa.
Kid Koopa.
You mean Baby Bowser?
Baby Bowser, yes.
Oh.
Well, there's no point to him anymore. That's the
Exactly.
Yeah.
thing.
Well, anyways, going to Cranky Con, yeah, Fred Emerson or whatever his name is. He sounds like an old Jewish man. I mean, yeah, he's easily annoyed. He's a sarcastic smartass, but I remember Nostalgia Critic said that he hated his voice actor and said he was just as annoying as Jar Jar.
No.
Wow. No.
Yeah.
Not as annoying as Jar Jar.
I mean,
I'd say
I've heard better. But
Yeah,
I've heard
but-
better. As much as I would love to have Aaron Tager, he's dead. But like Aaron Tager from the Donkey Kong show had like the perfect pitch, the
Well,
perfect
I got
ratchety old
Hey,
man
it's-
voice.
God, you can find a necromancer. I'm sure.
Oh, I actually had some list of actors. Do you know who Brian Dole Murray is?
No.
He is the brother of Bill Murray, and he was the voice of the Flying Dutchman in SpongeBob, as well as Knuckles in Flapjack.
Okay.
He could have been a good Cranky.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that
Or
for Cranky.
Roger Bumpus, Squidward. Or if he was still alive, Gilbert Gottfried.
Nah, not Gilbert Gottfried.
No.
I mean, yeah, they should have gone with Brian Dole Murray. Let's see. How about, speaking of voice actors, this actor is a very experienced voice actor, Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek.
Oh, Kamek was not in the movie as much, so I
Yeah.
guess they just
Yeah.
threw. So I guess they just threw in one of the more higher rated voice actors in the business for the role of some of the lesser
I mean,
characters.
he did okay,
Yeah.
but it's too small a role for
Yeah,
somebody
but
that good.
he's got
voice
good
actor.
range, though. Kevin
Yeah.
Michael Richardson. Usually he's known as like big, burly characters or menacing
Yeah,
characters.
like honestly, if it wasn't going to be Jack Black, like I would want Kevin Michael Richardson
as Bowser?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
That would have been cool. Like, he would just do the Shredder voice
It-
with the mitts of Mr. Gus from Uncle Grandpa. Well, anyways, to me, Kamek, the voice was inspired, at least in my opinion, by Peter Lorre, the horror icon, and he did have cute moments with Bowser, and I loved when he was dressed in drag. That was great.
dress as Princess Peach to help Bowser propose better.
Yeah.
Oh God, that line. Love has a way
Well,
of helping a
what's
guy
funny is-
come out of his
Well,
shell.
here's the funny thing. Like, if we're going off of the video game timeline, and especially Super Mario 2, Yoshi's Island,
Yeah.
Kamek is basically Bowser's dad.
Yeah, everybody says that.
I guess you're right.
Yeah. But Bowser kind of treats him like shit. Like when
Yeah.
he slammed the piano cover on his fingers, he's like, pain is the best teacher.
Can I lift the lid now? No. Pain is the best teacher.
How about, I don't know about Spike.
Spike is not really.
Yeah, I mean,
all that
he was just an
important.
Easter egg for the Wrecking Crew. He was a former boss of Mario and Luigi.
Oh, that's Spike.
Yeah. And he was just a bully who thought Mario and Luigi weren't good enough, but he gets proven wrong at the end of the Battle in New York.
Well, see, I think
apparently he was their boss.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
construction company.
Well,
was.
here's what I think it was. Here's my thought. I think it was like Mario and Luigi were probably the best construction workers he had, and so he probably bitter once they left.
Yeah.
I could see that.
calling it now. In the sequel, he replaces them with Wario and Waluigi.
I mean, that would be funny.
It would be funny.
I don't think they want to use Waluigi though.
Oh.
Well, let's go into that though. What characters do we want
Yeah.
to see in the
Oh,
sequel?
wait, one more character.
And what plot?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna talk about sequel ideas featuring what other video games we want next, but let's talk about that big cameo, Charles Martinet as Giuseppe, aka Jumpman.
Well, we already knew they were going to put him in.
Yeah, and he was also Mario
Mario's dad.
Luigi's dad.
Yeah. Which was good. I like
He should be the Nintendo movies version of Stan Lee, where he makes cameos in every movie.
I would love that. That would be great.
That would be kind of okay.
Yeah. All right. So sequel ideas, future, and what video game movies we want
Or like
next.
that one guy from Pixar.
What one guy from Pixar?
The one that plays the flea in Bug's Life and plays Ham.
Oh yeah.
I forgot his name, but
too.
I forgot his name, but he plays Cliff in Cheers.
Yeah, but basically, like, he plays like some kind of minor role in almost every Pixar.
Yeah, he does. There's another actor who
I
does
love
that
when
too.
in one of the bloopers for one of the movies they even call that out because he's watching. I think it was one of the Cars movies.
Yeah.
He's watching like Cars versions of all the other Pixar movies, and he's watching the scenes where it's like Ham or then the character from Bug's Life. He's like, "Wait a minute, they're just using the same voice actor over and over again. What kind of cheap production is this?"
I think there's another actor too from the Pixar movies who has other cameos like that. The voice of Bean Bong.
Yeah, but it's
from-
gotten to the point that they just call it out because he
Yeah.
also plays the truck in Cars.
Yeah. Anyways, for my idea,
Mater?
No.
the semi truck.
Yeah.
I've never seen Cars.
Oh.
Okay, so my idea for a sequel is that Wario and Waluigi need to appear, and the voice actors for Waluigi, it's either William Dafoe, Mark Hamill, or the guy that plays Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen. But for Wario, it's got to be Danny DeVito. I'm sorry.
I mean, that would be really funny.
I'm seeing as how Charlie Day was Luigi, and they were both in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Why not?
The trash man. I mean, they're not gonna do that. Let's face it. They're not gonna bring them in.
They'll probably bring Wario.
Yeah, they'll bring
Waluigi will be lucky if he gets in.
Yeah.
I mean, we already kind of have a good idea of what the plot is gonna, because they pretty much already teased
Yeah.
Rosalina.
Yeah, but the after credit scene was Yoshi.
Yeah, we know that the
So-
sequel's gonna be.
Oh, how did you guys feel about that Luma?
Oh,
I loved it.
me too.
I loved
The only release from pain is the sweet release of death.
No.
No, the only escape
way,
of pain.
No. The only way out is the sweet release of death. Yeah.
when he's getting sucked towards the lava, yay! When it gets
At last, mercy.
At last, mercy.
oh god.
I love. People have already drawn fan art where it's Rosalina with that little Luma, and she's just looking at Mario like, "What the hell did you do to him?"
That was the piece of fan art I showed you, and
Yeah.
it was Rosalina complaining to Pauline, saying, "What the hell did you? Why is my Luma acting like this? I left him with you. I had mayor things to do. I can't
Oh
keep
yeah.
my eye on
Speaking
him
of
all the
Pauline,
time."
she had a cameo as well.
I didn't notice that one.
Yeah, it was on the TV, like with that big New York flood. Like it said, that the mayor was like calling for an emergency New York flood, and it said, "Oh, there's our chance, Luigi," and she was on TV.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that. I mean, they've pretty much already hinted. Well, I mean, the big Easter egg. The teaser was Yoshi.
Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
obvious.
So, anyways, I can see if Wario and Waluigi was in it, I could see them trying to steal the Yoshi egg for their own benefit while Mario and Luigi were away. They probably took over the plumbing business but suck at it, Wario and Waluigi. I'm pretty sure they formerly worked with the Wrecking Crew. They could possibly, or maybe they worked as con artists.
Maybe Wario and Waluigi were replaced by Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I mean, the most likely sequel plots are: we know that number 2 is going to be Yoshi, so it's probably going to take place on Yoshi's Island.
Yeah.
And number 3, they're probably going to go to Rosalina at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
because-
the other after credit scene was Bowser gets shrunken down and he's prisoner at Peach's castle. But I'm pretty sure they're either going to introduce Bowser Jr. or the Koopa Kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to say both, and Bowser Jr. is going to be the leader of that gang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
But about the Koopa kids, are they adopted or
I think at this point they're adopted.
yeah? What about Bowser Jr.?
Bowser Jr.
John,
is the
they've-
only
Yeah,
son.
Bowser Jr. is his only legitimate
Oh,
kid.
but who did he knock up? Some random Koopa? Or,
I don't know.
Or either that. What
You
if,
know that could that
Or-
could be an interesting plot point. I could see somewhere in the sequel where Bowser Jr. actually captures Peach and is about ready to like deliver him to
his dad?
to his dad, and Peach is like, "What? Why are you doing this?" And yada yada. And Bowser Jr. is like, "Because I want my papa to be happy."
oh,
Well, see, now I kind of want to. Who's the voice actress for Peach again?
And then
I
you'd
forget.
see, and then you'd see,
Wait.
yeah, and then you'd see, yeah, Bowser has done all these terrible things, but he's also been a really good father to little Bowser Jr. And poor Jr. just wants his papa to be happy, but he also knows that what he's doing is wrong.
but for Bowser Jr., what if like Bowser like was so depressed that he wanted his own son, but like couldn't find a mate, so he had Kamek create a son out of magic.
Possible. Who's Peach's voice actress in the movie? I forget.
Anna
let's see.
Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, Anna
I kind
Taylor-Joy.
of just want to hear her go, "Mama, I'm your mama." the sunshine meme.
Oh,
Because everybody has made fun of the fact that it sounds like she actually believes it.
yeah.
No, I think it was more of disbelief. in the
Well, it was,
performance.
but at the same time, it's like she's not saying anything against it.
Speaking of Bowser Jr., some fans want Cree Summers to be the voice.
I mean, I could see that.
I could see that. I could see Nancy Cartwright as well.
Oh, that would be good. Just do Bart Simpson, basically.
I'm Bowser Jr. Who the hell are you?
Also, if Daisy was in it, would she have a similar backstory to Peach?
I think for Daisy, they would just make her Peach, but dialed up to 11. Movie Peach.
Well, okay, let's get into that. What character? Well, we already kind of got into it a little bit. What characters do we want to see? Because you already said yours. You want to see Wario.
I would like to see
Waluigi.
I would
Yeah,
like to see
same
Daisy
here.
too, but
I
I,
wanna
don't
see
know if they
Daisy.
would use her because Rosalina is too popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who would they get for Daisy if she was in it, like voice actress wise, or
I'm not really as up to
or
date
Rosalina.
on celebrity voices.
Oh, also, will Birdo be in it? And isn't she technically trans?
Yeah.
No,
Well, I mean, no, yeah, technically in the
No, I
American,
don't-
at least in the American version.
no. I
Kind of
don't
like
think
with
so,
Poison.
Officially.
Yeah.
No, they only said that Poison was a guy to avoid
A lawsuit, yeah.
Capcom
It's-
only said that
It's
Poison
still
was
canon.
a guy.
It's still canon.
No, they made it so like Poison likes to mess with people's heads about that issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it that, or is it that they just keep going back and forth? Because I know Birdo's thing basically says it says something about that now.
I don't.
It's pretty much canon with Birdo, like it kind of is with. It may still be sometimes in flux, but let's face it, that's more or less what it is.
I don't
Or what if
know.
Birdo
I
is a
don't know.
type of species that can change its gender?
I mean, that can work.
You mean like reproducing by parthenogenesis?
Let's face it, even if they bring Birdo in, that's not something that they're going to touch on.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I brought it up. Okay. Will
No,
this?
I mean, it's important to bring up because it is a legitimate question.
Yeah.
It's just,
I-
it's a little bit of a moot point because there's no way that they're going to cover that topic, especially not in not even just in a kids movie, but like in a Mario movie where characters barely have personality to begin with.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
I'd elaborate more, but I don't want Mark's channel to get pulled. So,
yeah. Anyways, will the movie win an Oscar for Best Animated Picture? I hope
No.
it does. Why?
I'm sorry. I love the Mario. I like the Mario movie, but it's not. Well, it depends on what for.
For
Maybe-
Best Animated Picture.
Okay, for that maybe.
I think it has a good chance of being nominated, but I think knowing the suits in Hollywood, they'll give it to Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
Into the
probably because
Spider-Verse
it
2.
did win last time.
Yeah.
And even though now we'll get to the rating of the Mario Brother movie later, but like
I mean, here's the thing. To be fair, Spider-Verse 2 is going to have a more meaty plot in terms of what's going on. And at the end of the day, it does have more interesting art style.
I don't.
Okay.
Mario made so much money because it's what's known as a 4-quadrant movie.
Anyways, since we talked about like sequel ideas, what about like ideas for upcoming movies that's already gonna be made? Surprisingly, the DK movie.
Well, the DK movie has not really gone forward.
Yeah, I know,
That's not
but
a thing yet.
here's what I want to see in the DK movie because it's most likely happening, and we already know.
Eventually.
Yeah, we already know Seth Rogen's coming back, but here's who I want and all that.
Before you go
Yeah.
to who would you want to play the characters? What kind of story do you want to see in a Donkey Kong movie?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because they have most of the characters set as it is.
Yeah.
They have their Diddy Kong. They have their Donkey Kong. They're cranky. Like, the only people to really
Oh God, what would they
cast
do with
would be
Candy?
K-Rool.
Who?
What are they going to do with Candy?
Like, she's gonna be in it.
They have
I was
to
just gonna
dial
talk
back-
about that. Yeah, they're gonna
They're
have
gonna-
to.
They're going to have to dial
Definitely,
back
yeah.
Candy's design a lot
Yeah.
so that she is not the
Like too sexy?
anthropomorphized, sexualized,
Yeah. Monkey waifu.
rare character.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know, because look at what they did with...
Well, they
the new-
changed her in the cartoon. Remember,
Well, I was going to say, look at what they did with the new Tana design.
Tana?
Who?
The Crash Bandicoot.
Oh,
Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh God! Don't give Candy the half-shaven mental illness haircut,
Oh,
please.
you
No,
mean,
don't do that.
Crash's girlfriend.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking
Oh,
like...
I thought that was you were mentioning his sister, Coco. I'm
no,
sorry.
but I'm talking about, like,
Oh.
they still made that Tana, sexy looking at the end of the day.
Avoid me.
when it comes
Avoid the California San Francisco sensibilities design, please. Please avoid that design like a plague.
I was gonna say, like, what if they made Candy look like how she did in the cartoon show?
I mean, maybe.
Looking at her now, looking at the design now in my head, she looks more like a Karen. She looks like a sucker mom.
A little bit.
Oh, you mean that version of Candy?
Yeah.
I kind of felt like she looked like an early version of Sonya Blade
Well,
from
here's
Mortal
the thing.
Kombat.
I don't think they're even going to put her in, because when was the last time they even used her in a game?
Yeah, so much for my monkey waifu.
Because, like, did
Oh.
she appear outside of DK? I mean, I think the last game was DKC3.
Okay.
No, I think it was
kind of-
64 or one of the Wii games, like the barrel racing game
We
where you
kind
go
of
to
got
a
off
shop.
track. We kind of got off track. What kind of story did you want to see in a Donkey Kong game? Mark?
Yeah,
Not game, movie.
yeah. I guess the whole banana horde plot, or maybe K. Rool, if he's in it, kidnaps the DK family, or like they go for the cartoon show and he's after the crystal coconut.
It would be good if they work in the Crystal Coconut.
I don't
would
know if
like-
they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna want to put hard drugs in a kids movie.
Anyway, I would like it if like K. Rool was going after Donkey Kong, thinking it was his old rival, but his old rival was Cranky all this time, and he mistakes Donkey Kong for Cranky, and he gets upset when Donkey Kong does not remember him at all.
Yeah, I could see that. But here's who I would want to be in the movie. Like Diddy Kong should be voiced by Tom Holland.
Well, Diddy Kong already has
Honestly,
a voice.
I know the perfect plot to do for Donkey Kong.
What?
What?
You basically just pull a Thor.
Thor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like he wants to be like the next in line as the ruler of the jungle.
He's also got a
and-
giant ego. You
Yeah.
have it centered around DK's ego has to be put in check, and he has to be humbled.
Yeah.
And
Like
that's where
Thor
you can
was in
get
the
the
first movie.
and that's where you can get the DK crew involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that like maybe K. Rool starts a war on the island and
With
like,
Andy Serkis as Linky Kong.
Andy Serkis.
I would say here's what
I was
would
gonna
say.
pick Rob Paulson, but okay.
Here's what I would say.
Hmm?
You have that, like DK's the protector against K. Rool.
Yeah.
But he's also really arrogant,
Yeah.
really egotistical. He screws up, and K. Rool manages to take over the island is because DK thought he could handle everything on his own. He didn't
Yeah.
think he needed companions or anybody to work with
I could
him.
see that. And I'm guessing they do that by like because like, isn't it true that in the games DK's source of power is the banana horde? Because believe it or not, fun fact, bananas are radioactive. So if you eat bananas, would that make DK the Hulk?
Aye.
So you were saying?
What was I saying? How? Gosh darn it! Why did you interrupt me?
Sorry.
It'll come to me. What was it? Oh, and not only that, Donkey Kong would be far too prideful to basically accept help from at any kind. Like you know how in the Mario Brothers movie, Princess Peach went to the Kongs to get their help.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong would not stoop to that level.
Yeah.
Asking for the Mushroom Kingdom for help because he's far too prideful to ask for it.
Yeah.
But when he does reach the point where he does need help, that's when the DK crew helps him, and together they end up saving their home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a very easy plot to set up. You just play on the fact that Donkey Kong has already been established as very much an egotist.
Yeah. And
like Diddy Kong could say, well, we could go to the Mushroom Kingdom and ask Mark. Don't finish that sentence, Diddy.
Diddy, do I need to put you back in the box?
No, back in the barrel.
Yeah, back in the barrel.
Yeah, because anyways, for DitsyCon, they should get Kristen Shaw, the voice of Mabel.
I could see that.
Feel the magic.
Okay, I can see
They found
that.
bananas.
Oh, Diddy, you used to give me such a walloping.
I'm sorry.
The Bible fruits.
From Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
Funky Kong, probably John Cena. The Bill Fagerbakke, voice of Patrick as Chunky. And for either King K. Rool, Jim Cummings, Kelsey Grammer, or Tim Curry, but I don't think Tim Curry can
Tim
act
Curry
anymore.
doesn't do acting anymore.
Yeah, because
Honestly,
he suffered from a stroke, unfortunately.
Kelsey Grammer could be a good pick, but how does he? But I'll just get into it right now. You shared with me a short called Return to Crocodile Isle.
Mm-hmm.
It was done by a group of fans who basically made like this homage to the Kremlings.
Mm-hmm.
And this project actually got some of the original voice actors from the Donkey Kong Country show,
including King K. Rool's voice actor,
to reprise their characters' voices.
And DK's actor.
Hearing Benedict Campbell's portrayal as K. Rool again after so long, I feel that whoever you need to get to play K. Rool has to find the perfect balance between megalomaniacal, eccentric, and full-on theatrical.
I know two voice actors that you go for. Either go for Willem Dafoe
as K. Rool.
Yes.
Or
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage would demand too much money.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Jack Nicholson.
They already hired on Chris Pratt for Mario.
Yeah.
His salary couldn't have been small.
Yeah, but remember...
The bananas, Norman! We must steal the bananas!
But keep in mind, they originally wanted Nicolas Cage to be Hades in Hercules.
They did?
And Nicolas Cage was asking for a lot of money.
Hang on. You also got to remember, that was back when Nicolas Cage was at the height of his career.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage at this point will take any job.
Yeah.
Honestly,
banana steak.
Now this is another big name actor, but seeing his performance as a villain, I can't think of another person who could balance out all of those traits that I just listed better than Gary Oldman.
Ooh, that could work.
Does Gary Oldman do theater work too?
I think so.
Does he sing?
I think he used to.
After seeing you guys have seen the second Kung Fu Panda movie, right?
I haven't.
He plays the villain in that movie.
Oh, okay.
And he has that same amount of eccentricity and megalomaniacal madness that K. Rool had, albeit for for Shen in Kung Fu Panda 2, it was toned down a bit, but he was menacing. But he was menacing in that film with his performance, and I can see him doing a fantastic K. Rool if given the chance.
And I would love to hear music from the DK games, such as the main theme, Jungle Hygienes, Aquatic Ambience, Forest Frenzy, Sticker Brush Symphony, and of course, Gameplay Gillian. We already talked about LinkyCon, already talked about CandyCon, but if she was in it, I want Rosario Dawson to do her voice. She's the girl who played Night Nurse in the Daredevil show, and she was also in Clerks 2. She had like other few roles here and there.
She's done a lot of stuff.
Well, anyways, what I want in the movie is the fake credits. Yes, where people think it's over, but K. Rool bamboozles the audience.
Yes. Like they can make it seem like the movie has ended, and we're seeing all these credits, but we're seeing a bunch of like
Kremlin names like Crusher, Clump, Claptrap.
Exactly, and it
would wait a minute.
and then K. Rool bursts in with like one more insane final like hurrah in order to try to beat the good guys.
Yeah. Oh man, that would just be amazing. They have to do that. I'm sorry. Okay. How about other movies you want to see based off of games?
Well,
based off of a Nintendo product.
We know which one they're gonna do next. It's gonna be Zelda.
Yeah. Who would you get for Link?
If they didn't have Mario save Peach in this movie, they need to have Link save Zelda.
You know what?
It's a requirement.
I kind of just want them to leave Link a mute, and he just goes, yeah.
But for Ganondorf, they got to get Josh Brolin. They got to play Thanos.
I don't know. I wouldn't go with Josh Brolin.
Maybe.
Ron Perlman?
No, let's see. Josh Brolin, Ron Perlman. I'm trying to think.
It has to be somebody charismatic because at the end of the day,
it has to be somebody charismatic, and for me personally, it has to have a gravelly voice.
Jeremy Irons?
Maybe. Heck, if all else fails, you could just get Frank Welker to do Megatron.
Yeah.
But
honestly, I think he is past. Who did Kingpin from the old Daredevil movie?
Oh, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, unfortunately he's passed, right?
Yeah.
Like that would have been a perfect voice.
I thought you were gonna say the Kingpin from the Spider-Man cartoon.
No.
Yeah, because he passed too.
No, Michael Clark Duncan would have made a great Ganondorf.
Yeah, but I have a list of movies that I want to see based off of video game franchises, not just with Nintendo, but other games. But with that Punch-Out Easter egg, they got to do a movie, and they got to have Mike Tyson as a cameo.
Come on, you Mac. We're going to go. I'm going to get you in shape, you Mac. Go be the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, like, I think he could play Doc Brown, or no, what's his name?
Doc
Brown?
Lewis.
Doc Lewis. Why did I say Doc Brown? I'm thinking about to the future. Yeah, like, Mike Tyson could be Doc Lewis in that movie if he can't be himself as Mike Tyson in the game. But yeah, that would be great. Because it would just be like Rocky or Creed or any other underdog story.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it basically is.
Yeah.
My daddy Pete with my defeat, you poignable.
Star Fox.
You sure you want to open that can of worms?
Why?
You know what's going to come after if you do a Star Fox movie.
Crystal?
Yeah. You sure you want that on screen?
If they could make it tame. Because you have to remember, with Crystal's edition was all thanks to Rare. And Rare has a thing for...
Well, part of that was that she was redesigned off of an old character.
Yeah.
Originally, Star Fox 64 was Dinosaur Planet.
How would you... Oh, wait, we didn't talk... I don't know how you would handle a story for Zelda in a cinematic fashion, but how would you go about handling, like, Star Fox?
Well, honestly, as weird as it is, they probably just would use the Star Fox 64 plot.
Yeah.
What I would like to see is every time we see Andros, he is still in a
Astral form?
No, not in astral form. Whenever we see Andros, he is still in fully monkey body.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't modified his body at that point yet.
Where he's
And
like
it's only-
Galactus, basically.
and it's only at
It's
the
more
end.
like ego.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only toward the end where he actually does go through and like drastically changes his body into that abomination.
Well, then
Yeah.
who's going to be the villain? That's the question then.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you just have Andros as the villain.
I know.
Well,
I'm just
before
I'm
he
just
gets
saying.
modified?
Oh, how about Starwolf?
Possible.
Star Wolf would serve as a great rival for the Team Star Fox, because like you have like Wolf McDonald.
Yeah, but I'm saying if
Wolf McDonald.
if Andros isn't going to be
Leon.
modified until the end of the first movie, who the heck do you have serving as the villain?
No, it would still be Andros. He's still giving the orders, making like he's still giving
Maybe.
orders, being intimidating, like maybe even like offing somebody off screen.
Yeah. Or like
screen,
you
and
have
then
like a
at the-
double agent work for him,
And
like
then at the end,
like Pigma, because Pigma was part of Star Fox, but he betrayed the team for Andros.
Well, honestly, the easiest Nintendo franchise to make into a movie than any other is Metroid. At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just basically
but
aliens.
But the thing about with Metroid, it has to be handled in a very, very specific way.
It does, because look at what happened
Like,
last
you
time they
can't
tried to do a cinematic Metroid.
Because you can't just have it.
Wait, we had a Cinematic Metroid movie?
Well, pretty much they tried to do that with Other M.
Huh?
You never
You mean
played
the
Other
game?
M.
Yeah.
I never really played a lot of Metroid games.
They
if any at all.
tried to make it as cinematic as possible, and it did not go well.
Okay.
Because with one of the main draws in the Metroid series is atmosphere and isolation. And I feel you can't really get that very well in a cinematic format unless you have a similar writing style, like a similar minimalist writing style, like Genny Tartakovsky's works in Samurai Jack and Primal.
You should direct a Metroid movie.
Direct, yes. Animate, no. You'd have to find some studio who's very well versed in like.
Well, at the end of the day, it's going to be
Getting a
Illumination. That's the thing.
Yeah, but would Illumination even be able to do
I said they
a
would do it. I didn't say
semi-
they'd be able to do it well.
Yeah.
a semi-realistic type of thing? And would they be able to push
You
for
and I
that
both-
PG-13 rating?
You and I both know the answer to that.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't mean they're not going to try it.
Yeah. Kirby.
Hold on. Another thing about Metroid. I think the best way to handle a Metroid movie is to basically rehash Zero Mission, and as you see Samus exploring Zebes, you see like flashbacks of what happened to her and how she became the bounty hunter she is throughout the movie as she dives
Because you
deeper
also
and
got to
deeper
remember,
into the belly of the beast.
Here's the thing. Nintendo was very hands-on with Mario because that is their flagship character.
Yeah.
That is their bread and butter. You got to remember, they're not going to be nearly as hands-on for a Metroid movie because
Exactly.
even they don't
And
know what to do with Metroid half the time.
And Hollywood, and with Hollywood the way it is, Samus, they will definitely make Samus the biggest Mary Sue ever.
Yeah.
They will probably go out of their way to cast Brie Larson to play the role, and everything would go downhill.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's
Get
the
Jen
thing.
Hale.
Here's the thing, though. What movies other than Mario and Zelda are they going to be hands-off on? Because let's face it, they kind of stopped caring about Star Fox. They half the time they're not sure what to do with Metroid.
F-Zero is basically dead.
What would they do with Kirby?
Yeah, what would they do with Kirby? Like, I imagine Sakurai would be involved in that because that's his baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just
For Fire Emblem, medieval war movie.
well.
And characters need to be killed off.
Yeah, but again, it's like Nintendo was super involved with Mario because Miyamoto probably stepped in himself.
What if,
because Mario is his baby.
yeah.
Shigeru
Sakurai.
Sakurai would step in with
Kirby.
Kirby easily. Oh God, I forget who's the guy who does Zelda. Who's the main director? on
Oh
that
shit,
series?
I don't know.
I forget his name. It's not Koji Kondo.
I don't know.
But the guy who's been the main director for Zelda for a long time. I'm sure he's going to step in on the Zelda
Yeah,
movie.
but for
Is he even alive, or is he
Yeah.
retired?
No, he still does the Zelda games.
right. So for Kirby, what if they take?
Toriyama's not.
That's Dragon Ball.
Yeah, dude.
No, there isn't. No, there is a Toriyama involved in the production of Zelda right now.
Anyways, I was gonna say with Kirby, what if it took cues from the TV show?
If they do take cues from the TV show, I'm sorry, Anthony. A lot of the characters from the TV show will not have to have accents. Everyone has a certain role to play. They don't need to have
Aonuma.
accents for all those characters.
Aonuma.
Yeah,
Eiji Aonuma is the main
Who does
guy,
Zelda?
behind Zelda for a long time.
Meta Knight should not be Mexican. Chef Kawasaki should not be Italian, and I don't know Escargon. I'm sorry, he's not supposed to be French. All those accents have to be gone,
It's pronounced
No, hold on.
escargoon.
except for DDD.
Yeah.
King DDD's accent needs to stay. I need a monster to club that there, Kirby.
I mean, is anybody even gonna get that it's based off of George Bush?
What?
What?
No way.
It was either I forget. I know it was based off of the president at the time. It was either George Bush or Bill Clinton. I can't
Oh
remember.
God.
You know
That's
what? I would like to
hilarious.
say, you know what? If they're gonna go ahead and if they're gonna go ahead and parody presidents as villains, they'll never do it. I want to see what they would do with Obama. They will never touch Obama.
Yeah, they won't.
Never.
Yeah. Let's see. Metroid, Kirby. Oh, Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie's not Nintendo.
Yeah, it was based off
anymore.
of Bush. There's literally an episode where they talk about weapons of mass DD destruction.
Oh my God.
DDD was basically parodying George Bush at the time.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I'm pretty sure that was only for the localization.
No, yeah.
Yeah, not the Japanese
Absolutely.
dub, but for the English dub.
Yeah,
That's
for the
stupid.
English. That's what I'm talking about.
That's funny.
That's stupid. That's just as bad as what we had to put up with in the last 4 years when Trump got into office.
Okay. Let's see. So
Well, but here's the difference, though. They were never if you got the joke, you knew it, but they were never outright that it was like a George Bush analogy. It's just the voice actor was doing a George Bush impression with a thick Texas accent because I think George Bush is from Texas.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. That was the whole joke, was that he was putting on a thick George Bush like Texan accent when he
That's the
did
joke.
DDD back in the 2000s.
So anyways, with Banjo-Kazooie, you could just base it off the first game. Like you have Grunty try to kidnap.
Well, that's rare. That's Microsoft.
Yeah, true, but it was Nintendo at first. But
Yeah, it's not Nintendo doesn't have the rights to do a Banjo-Kazooie.
yeah, true.
Right.
I would like to see a Banjo-Kazooie movie though.
Writing for Grunty is going to be a huge pain.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause-
going to be done by it's probably going to be done by the same, probably done by Peacock and NBC because they did Halo.
Oh God. Yeah, and we all know what happened to Halo.
I think the Mega Man rights got picked up by some company recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about yeah, this isn't gonna happen. This is probably gonna go straight to streaming. Conquer. But
No, not even streaming. Conquer's too much.
yeah, I mean, 'cause I was
Conquer's
gonna
too
say
much.
if we got Deadpool, we could get Conquer, but
No.
yeah,
No. There are parents who are not smart enough to remember Conquer, Mark.
yeah,
And they'll
true.
they'll probably put it on and will be flabbergasted at all the graphic imagery.
Well, we
that
did get Sausage
Conquer-
Party.
Oh, now I remember. There was so I was wrong. There was a rumor sometime after the Mario movie that Disney had somehow acquired the rights to the Mega Man movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't think that's correct. I don't think it's known really who has the rights to do that. I know that Street Fighter
Yeah, I was
rights
just gonna.
was recently
Yeah,
picked up.
I was just gonna say there's gonna be a Street Fighter reboot. It's gonna be made by Warner Bros. And Legendary.
Yeah.
For a Street Fighter movie, I think it would be best to focus on Ryu and Ken
Yes.
during their training, and And if it gets successful enough for Street Fighter 2, that is when you
Introduce like Guile and
no, that is when you go with the tournament storyline.
Oh yeah.
Because like maybe because like I remember one of
The day Bison graced your franchise was the most significant day of your life. But for me,
it was a
it was a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
anyway.
So for the first movie, you don't want it tournament style. You want it Ryu and Ken training. But who would be the villain? Akuma, or is that
Probably.
too big of a villain?
Akuma would be a proper antagonist for Ryu and Ken for the first Street Fighter movie.
Honestly, you have them lose in the first movie. Like, Akuma doesn't kill them, but he leaves on a note of, when you are stronger, face me in the world tournament.
Yeah, that would be a great. That would be a great goal.
I mean, also you kind of you already have the Street Fighter movie written out. You just freaking adapt the animated movie.
That too. But I also would want to incorporate like, how many of you have seen like the anime series Street Fighter 2V?
I did. I've
seen some of it.
One of the standout scenes for me was in the second episode where Ryu and Ken meet Guile for the first time, and he kicks their ass hard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a scene like that to basically illustrate just how far Ken and Ryu have to go in their training. Because in that scene they were acting like they were acting like punks, and Guile, he was just defending his friends and comrades. So it's like a good little blow to the ego to make them both humble and take their training seriously.
Make you humble.
I knew that was coming.
So with Street Fighter, yeah, I mean, you were talking about Guile. I mean, obviously they have to have the Shadowloo plot.
Exactly. That could work well for the
considering
sequel.
in the first movie we had Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile, let's just go full and make it Arnold Schwarzenegger.
As Guile, nice, but he's too old.
Yeah,
Arnold's too
unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I can see John Cena as Guile.
Yeah, that might work actually.
Probably.
Who would you get as Zangief?
I don't know, honestly. I guess maybe the guy who played Red Star in the Marvel movie.
Yeah. Red Guardian. Yeah, he'd be good as Zangief. You're a great big fat man. Round that was strong, slim man.
No, I think
built like a Russian potato.
You need me. I'm sorry. I don't want to see a fat Zangief.
Well, no, I mean, you have him get in shape.
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Actors have done incredible jobs in terms of getting themselves in shape.
True. I imagine the ending of the second one with the tournament arc, where it's Ryu, Ken, Guile, and Chun-Li versus the four kings.
Yeah. Sagat, Vega, Bison, Balrog.
Each one is separated from each other. So it would be Ryu versus Sagat, Ken versus Balrog, Chun-Li versus Vega, and Guile versus Bison.
Yeah.
But like the other three managed to defeat their opponent. Ryu manages to beat Sagat on a fair fight. Ken and Chun-Li barely managed to make it out of theirs, but like Guile has the hardest time, and even when Chun-Li joins in the fight, it's too much for both of them, and it's Ryu and Ken that end up beating Bison.
I feel like fighting games are like the hardest to actually adapt into a movie, because when have we ever gotten a good fighting game based movie?
True.
Like even the recent Mortal Kombat, while people said it was, okay, like it still wasn't considered good. That fighting game tournament mentality is like one of the hardest things to actually adapt into a game.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they went with the Legend of Chun-Li all those years ago.
Yeah, like that's why they tried to do that.
And that failed even harder than that failed even harder than the tournament attempts.
Okay. Is that it for Street Fighter then?
Yeah, I mean, I know one series that they're absolutely going to try and make into a movie.
What?
God of War.
I have that on here.
No, they're not trying to make it into a movie. They're trying to make it into a TV show, and they're going to ignore all of the Greek stuff and go straight to the new hotness that is Norse.
Wait, really? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You're ignoring his entire character development in the first
Exactly.
3 movies.
Uh-huh.
First 3 games.
Yeah.
Those games are so much like movies, I keep calling
Well,
them
technically,
movies.
it's like 7. Well, technically, it's like the first 7 games or something. Because,
Yeah.
Yeah, because Norse mythology is so popular because we have Thor to thank.
Well, no, Norse mythology has always been popular,
Yeah.
even before Thor. It's the most well-known out of any
it's been
mythology.
it's been the most well known and most implemented in fantasy
for a long time.
Yeah.
in media for a long time.
I know.
Its DNA is in Tolkien's works.
Yeah.
Its DNA is even in Final Fantasy VII.
Ooh.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's like heavily embedded.
Yeah.
It's the one that we've all known the best.
True.
I mean, what are they going to do after they kill all the Norse gods? Are we just going to go through the pantheons?
Well, you haven't played the second God of War, have you?
I haven't played since 3.
Yeah, I haven't played the.
Okay, slight spoilers.
Don't spoil the first God of War for PS4 because I haven't played the Norse one or Ragnarok. I only played 3.
I was gonna spoil Ragnarok.
Don't spoil Ragnarok.
Okay, I'm shutting my mouth.
All right.
later.
What about? I was gonna say Gears of War. I mean, that's gonna be a Netflix adaptation. We already know what happens to that.
No, it's probably going to suck.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck.
I mean, the good thing is that
it's gonna be the
they're gonna
next
get
Halo.
Batista as Marcus Phoenix.
You can't do a good Gears of War in this day and age. There's no
No.
way.
Yeah.
No.
The games were better. All right. Last on my list is TF2. Basically, it's just Suicide Squad
I mean, has that been...
Or-
is that actually going to be a movie?
or Expendables. No, this is what I want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically you just do the Expendables or Suicide Squad.
I think
There you go.
I think the Expendables route is a better option.
Yeah.
Because you got to go the humor route at the end of the day.
Yeah.
For TF2.
Uh-huh.
Especially for TF2.
Yeah, because with TF2, it has to be animated. Like, you got to get the voice actors back.
But they're
I
not
don't
gonna,
know.
though.
They're not
If they
going
wouldn't
to.
get the voice
Rick May
actors
is
for-
dead.
If they wouldn't get the voice actors for
true.
Mario, what makes you think they're going to get him for TF2?
And I don't see it being animated. If it was done in live action, though, who would you get to play each part?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I mean,
Because there are 9 mercenaries, and the pyro can be the pyro could be the stuntman for all we care. He doesn't get any screen time. He does not take off his mask. Listen to me, Hollywood. You never take off Pyro's mask. You took Snake Eyes' mask off. Never ever take masks, helmets, or any piece of headwear off of characters that are iconic because they keep their face covered.
okay.
You done?
For now.
Oh, geez.
How the hell do you even do a plot about TF2 when the whole point is that you're facing the exact, basically a clone team of yourself?
True.
Have
And
you read the
there's
comics?
Really not
Yeah,
much of
there
a
are.
plot.
The comics have a lot more lore than the game.
All right.
It's
What-
basically a war over this rare element found only in Australia.
Oh, so
Yeah.
we're doing the unobtainium plot.
Australium.
Australia.
Yeah, because it's an Australian.
He's not
Device,
lying. That's what it's
yeah.
called.
I'm not surprised.
Did Saxon Hale create it?
I think Saxon Hale was imbued with it or something.
That's why he's so
All right,
powerful.
Yeah.
We never really got over, like, what the hell would the Zelda plot be? Like, what are you going to pull from?
I guess Ocarina of Time.
Well, my guess is you either pull it from
I don't
Ocarina
think-
of Time or you'd pull it from Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Because Skyward Sword is the start of the mythology.
True enough.
Like, you probably do Skyward Sword and then you jump to Ocarina of Time in the second movie.
I don't know. Ocarina of Time feels more like a series rather than a movie because there is just so much that happens in Ocarina of Time.
Well, yeah, another problem is our audience is really going to be on board with the fact that you have a hero that is not the same hero every game. That's very difficult.
The hero is not always going to be the same hero. the princess is not always going to be the same princess, and the threat is not always going to be the same.
True.
threat.
No, Ganon is the only one who stays the same throughout.
Yeah.
Unless he's like, between.
Like Beast.
Yeah.
True. True
Because
enough.
it is always, except in the Skyward Sword where it's demise.
But it looks like Ganon.
Yeah, and it basically becomes Ganon after that. So it's like Ganon is the only consistent.
How about
well,
Garahim?
Ganondorf.
Ganondorf, yeah.
Ganondorf, then Ganon.
But what about Garahim? He was in Skyward Sword, and he was kind of like more like a side villain.
Girahim was Demise's sword.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, it's been years since I played Skyward Sword.
Girahim existed to be pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, it's been like over a decade since I played Skyward Sword.
No, it's understandable, but it's like, it's like our audience is going to be down with, hey, here's a new Legend of Zelda movie. Oh, there's a new Link and a new
Ganon.
Zelda. Like, they're reincarnated from the old ones, but it's like,
But
I don't know if audiences
But they are
gonna
not
be
the
as-
same actors.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but our audience is going to accept that. That's the question, though.
Because we've been too conditioned to see a celebrity's face as the character rather than seeing the character.
True.
Yeah, but you can get away with that in a video game because you're supposed to be the video game character.
You can get away with it in a video game, and you can get away with it in a cartoon most of the time.
Yeah.
But like in a live action setting, I imagine it was difficult for people to adjust for seeing someone like Michael Keaton, going from Michael Keaton to like
Batman?
who
Well, but no,
who was
hang
the,
on. There's
who was Batman in
George
Batman
Clooney.
Forever?
George Clooney.
It was Val Kilmer.
Val
and,
Kilmer and then
Val
George
Kilmer.
and then George Clooney. Yeah.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in every Zelda movie, it would be a completely different personality. Our audience is going to accept that. I mean, they'd be similar, but at the end of the day, because you can't explain that away because the timeline jumps by thousands of years every single time. Our audience is going to be willing to accept, oh, this Link that we grew so attached to in Skyward Sword, now it's a completely different
Unless-
Link. There's like his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson or
Unless-
something like that.
Unless you make this movie into a trilogy.
Hmm.
Movie 1, Wisdom. Movie 2,
Ah,
Power.
number
Movie
3,
3,
Courage.
Courage.
Oh, that would be cool.
And each one would be.
But that's just going to make it more. Here's the problem: Legend of Zelda is a lot like Power Rangers, where every season, or in this case, every game, it transfers to a completely different hero. A lot of the elements stay the same, but the hero has more or less a different personality. That works when it comes to something like Power Rangers, Kamen Rider,
Different
those
personality-
type of shows.
different
I don't
personality-
know if that's going to work in a movie.
A different personality, but same spirit.
Yeah, but again, I still don't know if that's going to work in a movie because audiences are going to have to reset themselves every single movie.
I know what I know. That's why I'm making this trilogy proposal. So that way
But
we
you're
keep
still going to have to
this-
reset it every so often, though.
And how many times have they reset Spider-Man?
Yeah.
How many times have they reset Spider-Man?
But here's
And
the problem:
Godzilla.
you're asking for reset and continuation at the same time, because it's like even if you expand Ocarina of Time into a trilogy, like you're gonna have to get to like whatever the next game is, whether it be Wind Waker or Twilight Princess.
Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess.
Well, Majora's Mask leads directly on from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
That can
Exactly.
be an actual sequel.
Exactly. And if you follow the timeline and you believe that that undead warrior is Link from the Ocarina of Time in Twilight Princess, then that would be a good bookend. Ganon is dead.
There's a difference between asking an audience, hey, we're completely rebooting the Spider-Man universe. It's a completely new actor, new universe, new everything. It has no connection to the old. There's a difference between that and saying, hey, the next Zelda movie, after we got through the Ocarina of Time, quote, trilogy, now we're going to Twilight Princess. So it's still technically, you're getting into DC connected universe logic, where you're asking the audience to understand that this stuff is both connected and not connected at the same time. It feels like you're starting to get into the convolutedness that is the DC movie universe.
That is why it would just be the trilogy.
Yeah.
Just the trilogy.
Pe-
I
pe-
know Hollywood. I know Hollywood would never resist. I know Hollywood would never be satisfied at stopping with a trilogy, but that is just. But that is
Neither would the fans. That's the thing. The fans
Neither
would
would
be
the fa-
like, "Where the hell is our Wind Waker?
Yeah.
Where is our Twilight Princess? Where is our Breath of the Wild?"
and that's another thing. You do not adapt any of the games. You have to come up with something
Original.
different.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You have to come up with something completely different that is not in a video game. You can
Yeah,
do something like what
Easter
Mario
eggs.
did, where you throw in Easter eggs from like all the different Zelda games and whatnot. But the story in this trilogy has to be original, and it has to have an end goal. And
okay,
once you
so
reach
then it
that end
sounds
goal,
like the
it
best
does not
one to most.
go
Then it,
any
honestly, it
further.
sounds like the best one to kind of go off of. It's probably going to be Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild already took most of the elements from other games and mashed them together.
Well, I haven't finished Breath of the Wild yet. I have like one Divine Beast left.
Well, because like you've got the Koroks and you've got the Rudo and you've got the
Yeah.
Zora. Like they basically took all
Rito.
of this. Yeah, the Rito.
uh-huh.
They basically took all of the species and locations and
And
mashed
mash them all together in one
all
canon.
together into one canon game. Yeah. So it's like Breath of the Wild is probably the best one to pull from then.
Yeah. Let's see. How about this isn't gonna happen, but since Nintendo might do a Nintendo Cinematic Universe, how about a Smash Brothers movie?
I
I
do
mean,
not
maybe.
think that would. I do not think that would be a good
Be
idea.
interesting.
If it did come to that, you would have to strictly stay with Nintendo characters.
Yeah.
No third-party characters are allowed.
Yeah.
No.
No
third parties.
Sora.
Especially not Sora.
Yeah. No Banjo.
It was a nightmare just for them to
Snake,
get
no
Sora
Sonic.
in the game.
Yeah. So no Blue Mario.
Heck, it was a struggle just to get Cloud back in the game.
Ooh.
Oh God, I was gonna bring.
And definitely not Bayonetta.
I wonder if they would ever do. Oh no, I know what movie they'll probably do at some point.
What?
Because it's so big now, they'll probably do a Splatoon movie eventually.
Yeah. What would the plot be?
I mean, it's a war movie.
Oh yeah.
The
of
whole
course.
premise is the
It's more of a.
the
It's
squid
more of
versus
a.
the octoling.
It's more of a. I could see that. I could see
I
them.
mean, it's a lighthearted war movie.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, a lighthearted
It's
one.
a kids-friendly version of TF2.
yeah.
A lighthearted one, which would be a good contrast to like something like Fire Emblem, where the war is like, dude, war is hell.
Yeah. How about a Kid Icarus movie?
Maybe you would need. I keep blanking on the name. The Kirby guy.
Sakurai.
Sakurai. You would need Sakurai to do that because he's the one who did the last Kid Icarus, and it turned out
Uprising?
really well. Yeah.
It turned out really well, but you will destroy your arm in the process playing that game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a downside of the system it was released on at the time.
Let's see.
Yeah, you get Sakurai on the Kid Icarus.
F-Zero.
They're never gonna revive
They're
F-Zero.
never gonna
Well, we're
revive
getting a.
F-Zero.
Wait, no, this is
And
funny.
they're never gonna touch F-Zero. They're definitely never gonna touch Earthbound.
Yeah.
No, this is funny. Apparently, there's a Gran Turismo movie coming out, and they say it's based off of a true story. But I saw the trailer, and the guy goes in the car, and it like transforms holographically like into the video game car. I'm all, really? That's a true story that actually happened?
Is this movie about the making of this game series?
You think they would
Yeah,
do?
the game exists in that universe, in that movie universe. It's self-aware.
You think they would do a Pikmin movie? I don't know. I don't know how if that would even be really.
I mean, they've done
Well, you know what? If you can do a Bug's Life, you can do a Pikmin movie.
they've already done an Animal Crossing one.
Well, yeah, but wasn't that an animated movie?
Yes.
And that wasn't it like really short?
I think
Yeah.
it was like an hour 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
wait,
okay.
there was an Animal Crossing movie?
Yeah, I knew there was an animated one. I just wasn't sure how long it was.
I think it was an hour 20, maybe an hour 14.
Okay.
So that's a decent length.
Yeah. Because another 10 minutes and you're at movie length. You got to be at least 90 minutes.
Yeah, because back then,
An hour 20 is 80.
yeah, back then movies weren't as long as they were now.
Yeah, now you got to be over 2 hours for everything. And that's a rarity. The Mario movie is actually basically just about 90 minutes.
Yeah,
92 minutes.
92. Same difference. That's also another thing that helped it get such a big box office. They could fit more showings into every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's it for video games. I mean, there isn't any other franchises I can think of,
Well, I mean,
especially from Nintendo.
well, we talked about it, and I said that it actually wasn't true, but it's like, what would you want for like a Mega Man movie?
I mean, I never really played the Mega Man games.
Okay, this is really, really stupid, and they would never do this. I would laugh if they did it, and they got the voice actors from from the older Mega Man 8 games.
Oh, you mean
The
that really bad one?
ones, yeah.
What am I fighting for?
No. We must find out the energy immediately, Mega Man.
What the fuck?
Look up the
We gotta stop
cutscenes.
Dr. Wily.
We have to stop Dr. Wily.
Why does it sound like Elmer Fudd or Mike Tyson?
They literally just got people from the staff to do the voices.
It's basically if Capcom hadn't given them the script, I guarantee you they would have turned it into the next Ghost Stories, the video game.
It's hilarious. I don't know, but I've never seen this type of energy on Earth.
God, almost sounds like a South Park character.
Trust me, look up the cutscenes. They are hilarious. And they even keep in, as they're doing the dialogue, the spelling mistakes that Capcom is known for.
Oh God! Oh, like Jimmy and Bimmy.
No, well, we must not fight. We are not enemies.
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 It's hilariously bad.
Oh man.
But people love it because of that. Or like, I think one of them was like, "It's dangerous, Mega Man. It's dangerous to leave him alone. That's why we shouldn't have left him alone." It is so bad, but it's so funny.
That fits into my idea of a compilation of peak voice acting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, but it's not them going over the top. It's just obvious these people have never done voice acting.
I know. But
Wait. Oh, I know another good video game movie that should be made. Duke Nukem.
Yeah. I mean, they'd never do it.
They would never do it. Hollywood has this aversion to strong white men lately, Mark.
Well, just strong men in general, not even strong white men.
True.
Strong green men, especially.
My boy.
Okay. I'm going to swallow my pride here. Okay, so I know we already got Detective Pikachu. I'm pretty sure they're going to make another Pokemon movie.
Well, see, that's the thing. Nintendo doesn't technically own Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, it's...
Game Freak.
Game Freak. I thought it was HAL Laboratory.
No, with Pokemon, it's like a 50-50 split between Game Freak and
Nintendo.
Which is why Nintendo gets exclusive releases of the games. But that's why Game Freak can like do their own movies and their own side games.
So all those anime Pokemon movies, Game Freak, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Even though that...
Well, I mean, technically they were done by the same team that did at whatever time does the Pokemon anime.
Oh,
that's why they
I
look
could have
exactly like the
sworn
anime.
that during the beginning of the movie it had the Nintendo logo.
Well, I mean, it's again, it's a partnership.
No, I saw the
thing.
kids' WB logo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not me. I saw the Nintendo logo.
Well, which movie are we talking
The first.
about? Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well, even if there was a Pokemon movie, would they take cues from the anime, or would it be more focused on the games?
Well, I'm sure they will do an actual, like, legitimate Pokemon movie eventually. And it probably, I mean, if it's going to be through any company, it probably will be through Illumination as well, because it's like they have already got a foothold to get to the Game Freak company through Nintendo.
What pop songs would you like to hear in Pokemon? We can't get NSYNC back.
I would like the Digimon rap.
The Digimon rap. What about let's see. Who did the voice of Ash? The original voice, was it Mel Flanagan?
Oh God, I don't remember.
She should be in a cameo.
Yeah. I mean, what would you even do for a Pokemon movie? Because they've done everything in the other movies.
True.
Not
I
really
mean,
much to do.
I guess make it based
There's
off
only
of,
one thing to do. They go for God. No, wait, they already did that.
No, honestly, you know what you do? Here's what you do. Instead of basing it off of Ash, you do the Pokemon Origins, basically as a
like
movie.
Red.
Yeah. You basically just do Red's journey, and you do kind of a bit of a trimmed-down version of the Pokemon Origins movie.
Okay, I can see that.
But I wonder if it'll have like alternate beginnings. Like, you know how movies have alternate endings? Like, you know how like you can choose like your starter, whether it be a fire, water, or leaf?
No, there will not be alternate beginnings, Mark.
So they'll
There
just
is far too much work.
Yeah, so
No,
what,
I
they'll just
say-
go
I-
with Pikachu.
Now, I say, well, one, I
Well,
say you do the
Pikachu is the
Pokemon...
safest bet.
One, I say you do the Pokemon Origins route, where it's Red. But, you know, then every movie, you do a different protagonist. You do just whichever one of the two tends to be the most popular. Because, like, when you get to Pokemon Green, like, the more popular one is Green, which is the female
Venusaur.
protagonist. No, I'm talking about the, you know...
The starter?
No, the
trainers.
The trainers.
Oh, okay.
Like, when you get to Red and Green, the one that people know much more is Green, which is the female trainer. And, you know, you just alternate between, like, one movie. Like, for the first movie, you got to do Red. He's the most well-known. For Silver, like, maybe you do Crystal, because she's the female trainer. For Gold and Silver, maybe you do, instead of using Gold, you use the female trainer Crystal from Pokemon Silver, for Pokemon Crystal. And then, you know, you just keep alternating it back and forth.
But would you ever include the Team Plasma?
Nobody's going to get that.
Oh, not even him?
No, not even him.
Apparently, Jersey has a rage boner for Team Plasma.
No, he just thought they had the most well-developed story, and he was pissed when their story arc got done.
Have you seen that little short video of like Team Rocket getting their podcast canceled?
I don't think so.
I did.
It was a parody video where Jesse, James, Meowth, and Wobbuffet had like their own little podcast going, and the topic came up of like evil organizations, and Meowth was like vouching for Team Magma, and he's like, I'm just saying, you know, maybe there is too much water. Meowth, you can't say that. You can't say there's too much water. Come on, come on, Jimmy. Half the place is ocean routes. It's part of Hoen's culture. If Hoen's culture means getting my fur wet every time I have to go to Moss Deep City, then maybe the water should get dried up. And they basically got their podcast canceled for hate speech.
Yeah, it's hard to say what to do for a Pokemon movie because between the anime and the movies that already exist, they kind of have already done everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Pokemon, been there, done that.
Yeah. I mean, Detective Pikachu is getting a sequel, and we're getting
getting a sequel?
I think it is.
Why?
Heck,
Like, I'm a Pokemon fan, and even I don't want that.
My niece, she played Detective Pikachu. She didn't finish it, but she didn't finish it. And then she saw the movie, and then it was like, I like the game better, and finished the game.
Okay, what about I know Sonic's getting a third movie. Is that right?
Honestly, Sonic has been doing pretty good.
I mean, it's been doing okay, but it could do a lot better. And the box office kind of shows that.
Yikes.
Because with Sonic, I think, even though I haven't seen the movies, it's basically like how the X-Men movies were back in the day, while the Mario movies are more like the Spidey movies.
Yeah, because like Sonic 2 grossed $405 million, which isn't bad, especially when you consider its budget. But I mean, that's nowhere near like what the that's obviously nowhere. Like Mario movie has grossed 3 times it at this point.
Yeah.
Like that's lower than most MCU movies make.
Damn. And you're talking about the MCU movies of today, right?
Yeah. Because its budget, its budget was 90 to 110 million. Well, you also got to consider MCU movies have double that budget.
Yeah.
That's why they have to make so much. So 405 on a 90 to 110 million dollar budget, that is very respectable. Like, that's enough to keep the franchise going. And I imagine the next one's going to be even higher because they're bringing in Edgy the Hedgy.
Edgy.
Hey, I like Shadow, and I'm hoping they bring him back to his roots like they did with Knuckles.
Oh, will they bring back Amy? Will they bring back Omega? Will they bring back Rouge?
I don't know who else they're going to bring in.
Yeah,
And
no,
if
they're
they
never
were
going to
in
bring
it-
back Rouge.
If they were in it, who would you want?
Okay, so as weird as it is,
Like,
even
to
though
voice them?
well, I don't know about voice, but in terms of the characters I would want, so, I mean, we're getting Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious choice to bring along with Shadow would be Rouge, but quite honestly, I would rather have Amy. Because if you don't have Amy along with Shadow, you don't get the really touching moment where he remembers Maria due to Amy's speech.
Well, I never really played a whole bunch of Sonic games.
Blasphemy.
I haven't played any.
Friendship with Mark ended.
Oh,
I have an excuse. I haven't played any.
Yeah, I would want Amy, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put in Rouge.
I don't know if they're gonna.
I don't know if they're gonna. The
they
internet.
What about
might.
Silver
internet.
or Metal
No,
Sonic?
they're never
No.
going to touch Silver.
Oh,
They
because
will
from
never-
06?
They will never touch.
Never touch Silver.
They will never touch Silver with a 39.5-foot pole.
He's lucky they even used him in the comics afterward. I'll tell you who they probably will use in the future, though, because they do bring her back from time to time, would be Blaze.
Who's Blaze?
Yeah, Blaze would be.
Oh, the
Blaze
cat.
Would be a good.
Yeah.
Blaze would be a good pick.
How about
How
characters
about
from...
is Blaze and Big brother sister?
No.
Ah,
Blaze is from another dimension.
What about characters from the Sat AM, like Sally?
And
I
then
don't-
Sega of America hates those characters.
What about the
Sega
best...
of America hates them?
Sorry, Sega of Japan hates them.
Oh.
My mistake.
Why do they hate them?
They don't like that they don't technically have control over them. They're not there. They're not. They weren't created by Sega of Japan, so Sega of America has more control.
What about the best character? Merged Tails.
Oh, Titan Tales.
Yeah.
That exists only in the comics, and nobody who even reads the comics likes it. I mean, the characters they're going to bring in are going to be the popular characters from the game. If they're going to bring in anybody, we know they're bringing in Shadow. If they're going to bring anybody else, it's going to be Rouge, it's going to be Cream, it's going to be Vanilla, maybe Blaze. I mean, Silver has a better chance of being in it than the Archie characters.
What about Metal Sonic?
Oh, I'm sure they'll do Metal Sonic.
No,
at
I
some
think
point.
the Archie characters have a better chance of being in a Sonic movie than Silver at this
No,
point.
no. They will never allow the Archie characters.
Sonic, you has a better chance.
I'm just being hyperbolic. I'm
He's-
just being
he's
hyperbolic
kinda
of how
right
much
about
Silver is.
No, because Silver actually has a decent fan base, and Sega of Japan knows it.
And there's rights issues.
Like, they
with
bought
Archie,
it.
So, yeah.
They brought Silver back for the Rivals games. They just haven't brought him back for anything else. And he was in Sonic Generations, so they acknowledged that 06 exists.
Yeesh.
I'm sure they didn't want to, but they did. So it's like he still appears sometimes. So it's like, yeah, Silver maybe.
Ooh, you know what would
Metal
be,
Sonic definitely at some point.
You know what would, this is not Nintendo or Sega or anything. You know what movie would actually be a decent action horror movie that was based off of a video game? It's never going to be made. But from what I have seen of it, it would probably be a good sci-fi cinema.
What, House of the Dead?
Parasite Eve.
I've heard of that game. I never.
I
played
think
it.
I've heard of that game too.
All of the body horror is basically The Thing.
Ooh, that's cool.
Well, okay. You know what?
Is that an
Let's-
arcade game or is that an actual console game?
It's an actual console PlayStation 1 game, and I think it was like a prototype for it was a prototype or it used assets from Final Fantasy VIII. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, just trust me when I just like you could look up like one of the cinematics. Look up Parasite Eve rat scene,
Well,
and you will.
let's get into a little bit of a more broad conversation then. We know that basically the video game movie wars are gonna ramp up.
Jesus.
Like, that's already going on. We know that Universal now, after Mario made freaking $1.25 billion,
I think I remember seeing a trailer.
they're
for
gonna
that
go
game.
full force on a Nintendo cinematic universe, and we know that every other company is gonna try and get in on this.
Yep.
So the big questions that I want to ask in whatever time we have left. Question number one: how successful are these companies actually going to be? Because it's not going to be like with comics, where there's only really two big comic entities. Like, these companies are just going to rip and get whatever IP they can, and we've already seen that the quality, even now, varies so much, with like Halo sucking, Sonic being good at the very least, Mario
Ratchet and
doing
Clank,
amazing. Ratchet
and
well,
Clank
that was
being,
before.
like,
Hang on.
relegated to
Well, that was
dustbin of
before.
history.
I'm talking about like what's actually succeeding now. Ratchet and Clank, that movie was a couple of years ago.
All right.
I'm talking like Last of Us is doing well, Mario has done gangbusters, but then you have Halo failing, you have the Sonic movie doing good enough, you have Mortal Kombat essentially kind of failing,
You
more or
got
less,
Street Fighter in the works.
in the works. Like,
In the works, but will it be good?
you have
Would it be good, and
Uncharted.
would it be
Uncharted,
still?
that failed.
Yeah, Uncharted failed.
Uncharted failed.
So it's like, what are these wars going to look like? And number two...
The Last of Us is doing good.
Well, that's
but
what
that's a TV show.
No, that's what I said.
Oh,
But it's
I
like,
didn't
what,
hear you. Sorry.
what are these wars going to look like when we start getting into them? When every single company is trying to make their own video game IP franchise out of these video games. And number two,
The Witcher was doing good, and
Yeah.
that
well, that was also originally a book series.
I know,
Oh.
but the thing about Hollywood is that they want to take all of these already established things and twist them into what they want to show the audience instead of what the audience actually wants, and that's probably adds to the fact of shows like Halo failing spectacularly.
I
He's
think
not wrong.
I think what's going to happen, I think we're going to see a boom that is bigger than the comic book movie boom, but a boom that is also worse. Because I think what we're going to see
For
is...
So we're
for
going to
every
see a Bugsy
Mario
movie?
for every Mario, think of it this way, Mark. For every Mario Brothers movie, in terms of quality and reception, there will be at least 10 to 15 Halos.
I would say 5 to 10.
5 to 10 Halos.
But yeah, that's essentially what I think is going to happen. I think the only one that
We are going to be in a river of trash, desperately searching for our
Golden Gem.
and
for
our
our
life
diamond.
raft is going to be Illumination. That's what I think is going to happen. I think
And
Illumination.
I hate the fact that Illumination's the life raft.
I think that Illumination is going to be the MCU. They are going to be the ones making tons of money. And I think everybody else, I don't think they're even going to be DC quality. They're going to be like the companies that were trying to pull any other comics that they could get their hands on. Remember the Bloodshot movie?
No.
It came out. Nobody realized it because it sucked and it bombed.
I never even heard of that movie.
But I think that's what it's going to be with all the other companies. They're
Where-
all going to scramble. The only one that's going to make money is Illumination. And I think they're going to make... It's not even... Because let's face it. During the comic book movie boom, the race was between Marvel and DC. Everybody else was scampering for leftovers. I think what's going to happen is Illumination, with their Nintendo universe, they're going to make all the money, and every other company is going to scamper for leftovers. I don't think there's going to be another competitor.
Yeah. This is almost kind of like
the rest of the rest of the video game stuff will probably be Uwe Boll quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best.
The only one that might have a chance would be Sony. Once we see what they start.
I mean,
pumping
I
out.
was going to say, like, this almost sounds like the Monday Night Wars between, like, pro wrestling programs, WWE versus WCW.
Yeah, but in this case, it's not even going to be a contest.
Yeah.
It's just going to be Illumination with their Nintendo universe on top, and everybody else just trying to get something out the door. Everybody else is going to be at Sonic level at best.
Yeah.
They just see money, but they don't want to put the work in to get it.
I think we're still I think here's the problem. The reason why the Mario movie is going to turn out so well and all of the Nintendo stuff is going to turn out so well is because the original creators are actually going to be involved in the creative process because they got burned so bad on the original Mario movie, they're not going to let that happen again with any of these properties.
Good.
Heck,
Every
even,
other studio, though.
Heck, even in the ones that you and I both know will never be made into a movie. If by some miracle they did, even Nintendo will even still get involved and be like, no, this is how you're going to do it.
Yeah, with every other studio, though, they're not going to be nearly as involved. Like, we saw what nearly happened with Sonic.
Yeah.
Sega let that happen. At the end of the day, Sega let that trailer come out with Sonic looking like that. Like, it got fixed, thankfully, because of the giant backlash. But
and the
they
company
were fully ready to go forward with that.
Yeah, and the company
thinking
that did
it would work.
Yeah, and the company that did that work went under.
Well, yeah, because they had to redo the entire movie.
If only they fixed the designs for the Michael Bay TMNT back then.
Yeah, but you get my point. Like, everybody else is going to be scrambling and probably at their best are going to be able to pull off, like, another Last of Us or another Sonic. I don't think any of these other companies are going to
pull another Mario.
Yeah, are going to be able to pull the numbers that we're going to see Illumination pull.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end of the day, DC may be lagging behind, but there are a couple of their movies that manage box office and reception-wise to actually compete with Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these other companies that are going to try this video game movies, I don't think none of them are going to even come close to what Universal's going to be pulling in. Yeah. The other question I wanted to ask, like, while we still have the time, okay, if all of the companies are effectively going to pivot now to trying to do video game IP, how much longer does the superhero craze have?
I'd say not that long. I have no faith in James Gunn.
Yeah, because I think all of the other companies, the only two who are going to keep going with the capes at the end of the day is going to be Warner and Disney, and I think Warner's going to pull out really fast if Superman does not do well.
It will not do well.
Yeah.
But even Marvel's struggling. I mean...
Yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah.
Marvel's going to be the final holdout because the MCU has been so big for them.
Yeah.
How long are they going to hold out,
I know.
though?
Well, not only that, but I heard that I think they're either doing rewrites or pulling the plug on some of their projects because of the writer's strike.
Yeah, but again, at what point are they just going to say, okay, the superhero craze is done, we're done, MCU is done, we're moving on to what's actually big now, which is video game IP.
We have reached a point in our lives where we're like, the thing I love is mainstream, and I hate it.
Yep.
Well, that's what happened with me and Mark with the comics. That's what we loved.
Yeah. I mean, hey, at least we still got the MonsterVerse, Nate.
At least we still have the MonsterVerse.
But I'm curious, like, we know all the other studios are just going to hard pivot to the video game IPs. The only holdout's going to be WB and Disney. WB will probably pivot after the Superman movie doesn't do what they want, which will probably be in, like, what, 3 or so years? At that point, we'll be in the beginning of these video game wars. How long is Disney going to hold out?
Disney is probably not going to last so long.
I mean...
Well, they're going to try and hold out because...
Well, Star Wars is technically dead at this point.
Yeah, and Marvel's dying. At what point are they just going to give up the ghost and say we're done with the capes?
I guess time will tell.
I think they're going to be done when they figure out an actual video game IP that they can try and make their own franchise out of. Whether or not they get that from somebody, like there was the rumor of them getting Mega Man, or whether or not they manage to kind of take something that maybe they already own. Like, the only thing I can... like, they actually might be able to do a Kingdom Hearts movie.
Really?
Hey, the only company they would have to get to sign off on it would be Square Enix.
Yeah.
If they can pull the connection strings with Square Enix,
I don't think
they could be the ones to do
Kingdom Hearts as a movie. Kingdom Hearts as a movie, you'll only get like 3 worlds.
Yeah.
Hey, I said they'd try. I didn't say it would be good.
Kingdom Hearts is another one that I feel needs to be a series, not a movie.
Okay, you know what?
Believe it
You're
or not,
right.
we
I
were
can
supposed
see
to get an animated series of Kingdom Hearts.
That could have been good, but there's still the whole legal issue with Square Enix.
Yeah.
And the Final Fantasy characters.
I mean, they're still doing...
And Square Enix also owns parts of Sora's design.
parts of his design.
Yeah.
Well, because originally Sora was a Square Enix character.
Like Disney owns Sora's pants and shoes, and Square Enix owns Sora's hair.
Wait. Is that why they cut out his shoes in the new game? They changed his shoes in the new game.
Wow.
It's no longer the clown shoes.
Isn't it true that they had
Well, originally they planned to have Mickey be the main character in this series,
Oh.
but then they switched it up to being like
anime character? Anyway, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, isn't it true that they had like some of the Disney mascots dressed up in their Kingdom Hearts gear at Disneyland at one point
I'm not
to
sure.
promote the game?
if
Maybe.
it was probably in Disney Japan.
I wouldn't be surprised. Possible. But I mean, like, Kingdom Hearts is the one thing I could see Disney being
doing,
able
yeah.
to do, because all they have to do is get the sign off from Square Enix.
Wait, do they still have the right? Do they still have the rights to their version of Tarzan, or is it?
In public domain?
No. Do they still have their rights to their version of Tarzan, or is there still going to be issues with the Edgar Rice Burroughs Foundation
I'm not sure.
or estate?
I imagine there would only not be rights issues if Tarzan has already entered into the public domain.
I thought Tarzan was already in the public domain.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check. I mean, if he already is and they're still having troubles, then they probably will. I mean, they can just leave Tarzan out of it.
I don't know. I feel like you need Tarzan after the Deep Jungle level.
Yeah.
Though if it was animated, what would the quality even be like? Because like with Sora and the Final Fantasy characters, they are very heavily anime manga stylized, and it would and their type of animation would clash with the Disney world. But you know what? That could actually kind of work to its advantage, showing that Sora is indeed from an entirely different world than these Disney characters. But like, what would the animation quality be for like the Disney characters if they are going to be like 2D?
Ooh.
Would they? I sincerely doubt they're going to do hand drawn again.
Yeah, maybe Pixar quality.
No, I don't know if even Pixar quality. Maybe like it would still be 2D, but like, would it be like a rigging? Would it be like a rigging animation, or?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I was just more curious about, like, how long is Disney going to keep going with the capes if the box office keeps failing and they start to realize, okay, capes are out of fashion, it's video games now.
Well, that's what you get when you. Well, that's what you get when you. No, never mind.
Yeah. No, we all know.
I'll say it. We all know it. We'll say it off. We'll say it off screen.
Yeah.
Or off air.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will try and keep with it. I think what's going to end it for them is if the next Avengers movie doesn't do well. I think if the next Avengers movie fails,
Yeah.
if it does not break $1 billion, that's, I think, going to be the breaking point. If they released another Avengers movie and it does not break $1 billion, it does worse than the first Avengers, I think they're just going to say at that point, all right, that's it. That's the last one.
Wait, the first Avengers actually did good. You sure you're not talking about the second Avengers?
No, but the second Avengers still did more than the first one.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Age of Ultron?
I
Yeah.
will be back in the sequel, which always does well in the box office in the first opening, but will never be as good as the original.
Yeah, it did 1.4 billion.
Oh.
200 million more than the original.
Wow.
But it also cost a lot more.
I think Hollywood has gotten far too comfortable and enamored with the idea of the $1 billion blockbuster that they do not.
Yeah, because like ever since
that-
2000,
I don't know how to properly phrase this.
The problem is Marvel set the standards for movies continuously making $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Where after Avengers, just about all of their movies were hitting $1 billion. And so Hollywood in general got this idea of movies, the threshold for a movie making money was $1 billion. when before that it was a substantial rarity.
Yeah.
And honestly, with the way Hollywood's going, I think we need to go back to that format of the $1 billion being the substantial rarity.
Well, the problem isn't so much. The problem is Disney pours so much money into these movies, they have to make $1 billion.
They need that ad revenue.
Wakanda Forever, its production budget alone was $250 million, and it had a substantial marketing budget. That movie, at the end of the day, when you add everything together, that movie cost, without even taking in like the box office subtraction for everything, was probably $450 million. You add in the 50% that the box office takes away, and you're looking at a break-even point of like $900 million. Indiana Jones's production budget, not even adding in marketing, is over $300 million. The new one. You add in marketing, and that's a estimated budget of like over $400 million. Not counting in the 50% that the box office takes. So that movie, at bare minimum, needs to like make $900 million to break even. That's where Illumination shines. They keep their budgets low. You know how much the Mario movie cost and it made $1 billion?
Around 60 million.
No, $100 million.
Wow.
But that's still low compared to your average Marvel movie.
That's a lot higher than their normal budgets.
Yeah, they went a bit higher on Mario, but they still usually keep their budgets pretty low.
Illumination needs to maintain that standard.
Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Quality animated feature films on a lower, not bloated budget.
Yeah, and the same thing's going on with WB, where they will have like a $200 million budget for these superhero movies. Which, right there, you're looking at bare minimum that you need to break even on that $200 million production budget. You're looking at like $600 million is your break-even point then. Little Mermaid, we now know, cost well over $200 million. That movie's got to make at least like, probably bare minimum, $600 to $700 million to break even.
It's probably not.
It might. Like I said, it might. I wouldn't be surprised. But
It might. There are still Disney addicts in the world, Mark.
True.
Like, the only thing that might sink it is just how jam-packed this summer is.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was saying I'm a little bit worried about Spider-Verse 2, because the original budget for that was $90 million, and it made $400 million, the original one. That's a good return on investment for a movie of that budget. But the sequel's budget is like $150 million, which drastically ups what this next movie has to make. So it's like, if it kept its budget as low as the original, it would make a profit, I guarantee you. But because the budget is 1.5 times the original, it's got to make 1.5 times the original's total. Which means it's got to make like probably just under or close to $500 million. It's a tall order for considering what the original made. It's not impossible, but considering how jam-packed this summer is, it's a bit of a tall order.
Yeah. All right. You think we're done here?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I think so too.
All right. Let's call Renee then.
Oh, wait. There's a little bonus I would like to add.
Oh, what?
It's completely unrelated, but I feel a topic needs to be brought up. I feel a topic severely needs to be brought up here.
What is it?
How long were you planning to keep this a secret from us, Mark? How long were you planning on keeping this a secret from us?
What?
How long?
Shit! I don't remember writing for Kim Possible.
You're on Disney's payday?
Wow.
At such a young age, too.
He is a spy.
We've been bamboozled, Spider. We've been bamboozled.
We've been bamboozled.
I have seen this name twice in the credits twice. What?
Oh yeah, for Wild Thornberries.
Nope. You said it. You said it yourself. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I was trying to keep it ambiguous.
Because I saw that in Wild Thornberries. Well, I don't remember writing for that show. Same with that. And I haven't even watched Kim Possible.
Don't worry. I'll edit this one out. I'll edit this out.
All right.
I'll edit this out in post, but we'll keep the original.
Okay.
We'll keep the original. So is there an outro or?
I guess not. I don't know. All right. All right, Renee, you can kill it.